Good morning. Thank you for the warm welcome and the introduction and for inviting me here to be with you today. Thank you for letting me be part of your End It Now campaign as well. At New Directions, we believe that violence is avoidable. Every single one of us has the power to create safer homes, communities, schools, and workplaces. But awareness is the first step. Naming abuse, seeing the signs, and building a culture where safety and respect are the norm. At New Directions, like she said in our intro, we are the Domestic Violence Shelter and the Rape Crisis Agency of Knox County. But we serve more than Knox County. We serve anyone in Ohio and the surrounding area that reaches out and asks for services, that are seeking for safety and support. Our mission is to provide resources for safety, healing, and freedom for those impacted by domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking, while also offering prevention programming and education to build an informed, supportive community. Through a wide range of direct service, we ensure survivors have access to safety, healing, and empowerment. Survivors can connect with New Directions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, through our confidential hotline to receive crisis intervention, safety planning, and access referrals and resources. In urgent situations, we provide emergency shelter for adults and children, or compassionate referrals to alternative housing and additional social services to meet their needs. Beyond crisis response, our advocates walk alongside survivors through every step of their journey, offering specialized supports for domestic violence, sexual violence, human trafficking, youth advocacy, legal needs, outreach, and on campuses. We also provide peer-led support groups that create safe spaces for healing and connection. No matter how someone reaches out to us, we meet every survivor with empathy, respect, and empowerment, ensuring that no one faces this alone. In addition to direct services, we lead our community in collaborative and coordinated responses to domestic violence, sexual assault, and youth risk factors. Through initiatives like our Domestic Violence Collaborative Board, our Sexual Assault Response Team, we are uniting law enforcement, healthcare, legal services, social services, educators, community members, and survivors to ensure that we are providing trauma-informed, survivor-centered supports and responses. Beyond the crisis response, we also strengthen our families and prevent harm by leading our Knox County Fatherhood Commission, our Prevention Collaborative Committee, and our Youth-Led Teen Advisory Council. We're empowering fathers, reducing youth risk factors, and promoting healthy relationships, and engaging youth in prevention leadership. By fostering strong partnerships and amplifying our youth and the parents' voices, we're building a safer, healthier community where survivors are supported, families are strengthened, and prevention is priority. For our prevention program, we're committed to ensuring survivors know that they're never alone, and by raising awareness and engaging our community through events, marketing, and community-wide initiatives. We build a visibility to reduce the barriers to our services. Prevention and education are central to our mission. With school-based programming in all of our schools, pre-K through college, in their evidence-based initiatives such as our Sources of Strength and our Rocks Empowering Youth Leadership Program. We also offer adults, educators, professionals, community members, professional development to equip them with skills through things like Healthy Relationships 101 and Stewards of Children. We also specialize in programs for parents through our PACE initiative, where we focus on parents, caregivers, and individuals with disabilities to increase their knowledge as well. Together with these efforts, we're fostering resilience, promoting healthy relationships, and building a culture of safety and respect across our county. Essential to these prevention and outreach efforts is ensuring that individuals understand the dynamics of relationships. Recognizing that healthy interactions look like, how unhealthy patterns can develop, and what behaviors cross into abuse. When we speak about relationships, we often think about romantic partners and marriage, but relationships are so much more. They're with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your teammates, your athletes, and acquaintances. Relationships are hard work. Even though no relationship is perfect, every relationship makes you feel good almost all the time, or sometimes maybe not, but generally they're bringing you up. They're not bringing you down. They're filling your bucket. They're bringing you joy. All relationships exist on a spectrum, ranging from healthy to abusive, with unhealthy relationships falling in between. In a healthy relationship, partners practice open communication, mutual respect, trust, honesty, and they're supporting one another's independence and choices. When relationships become unhealthy, the patterns will become disrespect, dishonesty, a lack of trust, attempts to control may emerge, and often leading to increased tension and imbalance. At the far end of the spectrum are abusive relationships, where one partner intentionally uses harmful, threatening, or controlling behaviors, such as isolation, accusations, or mistreatment, to maintain that power and control. Recognizing where a relationship falls on the spectrum can help individuals identify red flags early, make informed choices, and seek support when needed. Relationship abuse is about power and control. It can take many forms that may not always be as obvious at first. They may move along that spectrum slowly. Red flags include consistent monitoring of phones or social media, frequent put-downs, isolation from friends and family, extreme jealousy, sudden mood swings, possessiveness, physically harm, or pressure to engage in sexual activity. Even if abuse happens only once, it is still serious, and it's considered relationship abuse. Violence does not choose people. It can happen to anyone and everyone as well. Setting and respecting boundaries is essential to healthy, safe, and respectful relationships. Boundaries allow people to share their needs and limits while also trusting that they are going to be honored and there's not a fear or a pressure. They can be emotionally rooted in trust and communication, physical based on comfort and readiness, or digital involving privacy, passwords, and social media. As relationships evolve, boundaries may shift, and they may be revisited, and mutual respect is considered. Ultimately, boundaries foster trust, and they ensure both parents feel safe and valued and empowered. Respect for these boundaries demonstrate care, honesty, and mutual respect. Communication is key, finding the right time, talking face to face, being honest, checking that body language and the tone, and helping to keep conversations constructive, even when conflicts arise. And conflicts will arise. Conflicts are natural, but resolving it in a healthy way is critical. This means avoiding ridicule or name-calling, focusing on the root issues. It's compromising when possible, or recognizing that you have the opportunity to agree or disagree. When disagreements escalate into control, manipulation, or fear, that's when it's no longer healthy conflict, but is a sign of abuse. Healthy resolution ensures that both partners feel safe, valued, heard, while also reinforcing that mutual respect and trust. Abuse is not simply about anger or conflict. It's rooted in power and control, intimidation with intent to cause harm. It shows up in many forms, including domestic violence, which is a pattern of abusive behaviors used by one partner to maintain or gain control over another in an intimate relationship. Sexual violence, which encompasses any sexual contact or behavior that occurs without consent of the recipient. Stalking, which is defined as course of conduct directed at a specific person with reasonable intent to have fear. Each of these forms of violence strips individuals of their safety and their dignity, while reinforcing dynamics of power, dominance, and control. Preventing and addressing such violence requires a community-wide commitment to education, awareness, survivor-centered supports, accountability, and all of this centers around safety and healing for those survivors. Abuse is not limited to physical abuse. That's oftentimes what comes to mind when we first talk about abuse. It's something that you see, but that's not the case. Physical abuse may involve hitting, choking, restraining, use of weapons, but it also can be threats, blocking someone's entry or exit. It could be intimidation. Emotional and verbal abuse can show up as threats also, humiliation, monitoring, isolation, gaslighting, or intimidation. Sexual abuse involves other behaviors that pressure, coerce, or removes consent from sexual activities. Financial abuse, although often not talked about or thought about, is more subtle. It restricts the survivor's ability to work, access to money, or maintain independence. And in our digital age, technology-facilitated abuse uses texting, social media, AI, spyware to monitor, threaten, or control. Stalking, whether online or in person, creates fear and a lack of safety for an individual. And these forms of abuse can occur consistently with one another, so it's not always just one or the other. They work together. The impacts of abuse go far beyond the individual survivor, though. Physical harm can result in chronic health conditions, injuries, and disabilities. Emotional harm can create deep trauma, depression, anxiety, and long-term mental health conditions and challenges. Abuse disrupts the family and community stability. It puts strains on schools, workplaces, healthcare providers, law enforcement, and the justice system. When abuse occurs, it ripples outward, affecting not only the person harmed, but the children, family members, loved ones, and entire communities. Above all, no one deserves to experience abuse in any form, whether physical, emotional, financial, sexual, digital, or stalking. All forms of abuse are serious and valid. Healthy relationships are built on trust, respect, communication, and consent. When they are replaced with control and harm, it is abuse. If you or someone you know recognizes warning signs in relationships, support's available, connect them to resources. Our team's available 24/7 at our crisis hotline, which is 740-397-HELP. We listen, we provide resources, we provide emotional support, and we help survivors explore the safest path forward, because everyone deserves relationships rooted in safety and respect. Relationship abuse is complex and difficult, not only for survivors, but also for those who want to support them. Many people ask the question, Why don't they just leave? No matter the reason, leaving any relationship can be difficult. Doing so in an abusive situation can feel complex and impossible without the right access to support. Survivors stay in abusive relationships due to significant safety, financial, and emotional barriers, rather than lack of the desire to leave. Leaving is often the most dangerous time, with 75% of domestic violence homicides occurring after separation. Survivors may stay for many reasons, including conflicting emotions, fear of retaliation, love for the partner, shame, culture or religious beliefs, parenting responsibilities, financial dependency, low self-esteem, social pressure, a distrust in authority, and limited access to resources also make leaving really hard, complex, and difficult. Abuse is never the survivor's fault, and the decision to leave must be made by the survivor when they feel safe and ready. So what can we do? When someone discloses abuse, we can respond, and the way that we respond makes all of the difference. We can listen, validate, reassure, and refer. We listen without judgment. We validate by saying, I believe you. We reassure by reminding them that they deserve a safe, loving relationship. They are worthy of that. They're not alone. We refer them to resources like New Directions or even the Domestic Violence Hotline. That's a national one. These actions, while simple, communicate hope to the survivor. They reduce isolation, they remind survivors of their dignity, and they open the door to healing. For friends, peers, or family members, supporting a survivor can feel overwhelming, especially when witnessing the abuse firsthand. Survivors may feel that no one will believe them, or that they are isolated already by their abusive partner and they don't know how to access that person. Abuse also impacts the whole families, especially children, who often experience guilt, fear, confusion when they're witnessing it. And it's also important to note that love and attachment for both the survivor and the person causing harm are natural. But processing these emotions require compassion and support. The most helpful approach to understanding the warning signs of abuse and the complex reasons people say is simply avoiding judgment and listening. Support should be survivor-centered, focusing on respect and love. Family and friends can show support by spending safe, quality time together, sending affirmations and messages, checking in, reminding them that they deserve a healthy, respectful relationship, providing resources. The decision to act belongs to the survivor ultimately. So encouraging self-care is a really important step as well, not only for the survivor, but also for you as a support person. As survivors may feel undeserving of love and care, practicing self-care is important. And for the supporter, you're enduring some emotional stress as well, so this helps ground you and remind you that you're here to support. Creating a safety plan together is one of the most practical and empowering things. Safety plans can include de-escalation strategies, preparation for leaving, financial tools, emotional support practices, and steps to increase safety at home. These conversations should be handled with patience, privacy, and respect for the survivor's pace. Every situation is unique, and there's not a single right way to do it. What matters most is providing steady, loving support while respecting the survivor's rights and allowing them to make their own decisions. reminding them that they're not alone, and then connecting them to resources. Another powerful way that we can end violence is through bystander intervention. We all have the opportunity to step in when we see something harmful or risky happening, whether it's in the workplace, at school, in our neighborhood, or even at a grocery store. At New Directions, we teach 4 strategies to empower bystander intervention: direct, distract, delegate, and being direct with the person who's being harmed. Direct interventions means speaking up and calling out harmful behavior. Stop. That's disrespectful. Distract is creating a diversion to diffuse the situation. Do you have a phone charger? Delegate means getting help. Hi, your friend looks uncomfortable. You might want to go check in on them. Being direct with the person that's being harmed, you're offering support and reminding them they're not alone. Are you okay? Do you want to go to the bathroom with me and talk? Bystander intervention skills can be utilized for a variety of situations, not just relationships abuse. These are life skills that we can have. Think about which intervention you would feel safe and comfortable to use. There may be a time that comes to mind that you could have used this, or you have used this. Imagine if each of us committed to stepping in when we see harm or a risky behavior. What kind of culture shift would we create? No one has to do everything, but we all have to do something. Ending abuse is not the work of an agency alone. It requires a community. It's a movement. When we promote healthy relationships, when we respect boundaries, we believe survivors, when we practice bystander skills, we create an environment where violence cannot thrive. This is the vision of End It Now Abuse Awareness. Say no to violence. It's a vision of a community where everyone deserves safety, dignity, and love. So I leave you with this challenge. Look around. Look at your family, your friends. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to help end it now? Because change begins with awareness, but it grows through action. Together, we can say no to violence and yes to a future of safety, to healing, and to hope. Thank you for welcoming into your space today to share this message, and I believe that you, together, can end it now. Thank you.